Lethal kindness coming right at you. Coming at you real kindly. Hi, how are you? Hope you're well. In the spirit of this channel, and we start to delve into the topics of discussion that could potentially get me killed. Let's get to religion, shall we? Shall we? All right. So, religion. It is a word in our lexicon. You've heard it before. Does it have any similarities to other words that you might have also heard before? Yes, there's a few. Should I tell you what they are? Okay, I will. So one of them is ligature. What is a ligature? You might ask. Well, if you've ever spent some time playing woodwind instruments in band, like say the saxophone or say the clarinet, those two woodwind instruments, they use a wooden reed that you wet with your mouth and go like into a mouthpiece, and it sounds way better than it sounds like, John Coltrane. John Will I Am Coltrane. Yeah, dude. Dude deserves his own church. So anyway, yes, religion. The ligature. What does a ligature do? Well, it's the little tiny metal band that looks like a strap that you use to tighten, to strap on, to tie the reed to the mouthpiece. Let's think about some other words that are kind of similar. Might have the same kind of root word. Oh yes, this might be kind of interesting to think about, but a tubal ligation. A tubal ligation. What is a tubal ligation? Is when a lady decides she don't want to make no more kids, and then she says, "I've got these fallopian tubes, and I want to turn them into fallopian garlic knots." I don't know. It doesn't have to be garlic knots, but yes, tying a knot in a tube that would otherwise deliver the potential for new human life. So we have a ligature, where we tie the reed to the mouthpiece. We have the tubal ligation, where we tie the tubes into a knot. Interesting. You know, you know, I'm reminded of another word that comes from Sanskrit, and that word is yoga. And interestingly enough, the word yoga has the root meaning of to yoke, which is a type of binding. Binding a yoke, typically in the field of animal husbandry, uh, to exploit exploit a much larger animal than, say, you or I, for the sake of doing hard labor. So we call that our beast of burden. So we have our beast of burden. What would you do? You would take a yoke and you would bind the yoke to this beast of burden so that you can carry out the work that needs to be done. Interesting. Interesting. Indeed. Religion. It's almost like you're trying to tie yourself to something. Perhaps even the divine. And you gotta ask yourself, what are you doing to bind yourself with the divine in your life, in your day-to-day life? Now, maybe, maybe, I'm sure a lot of people will kind of consider religion as like a part of their identity. Well, I tell you, I assure you, no, no, no. Religion kind of trumps identity. Kind of trumps it. Because the thing that you are tying yourself to is divine and unlimited and ineffable. Right? I think a lot of people will kind of say, like, well, my belief system is my religion. No, your belief system is a belief system and is a structure of rigidity. Maybe it's built like a house of cards. Maybe it ain't. It really depends on who you're talking to. But either way, like, a belief system is a structure. It's a thing. It's not something that ties you to something. It's just a belief system. And belief systems, they can change. They can really change. Maybe subtly, sometimes radically. Belief systems change. Perhaps it's people see religion as just dogma, and you're like, hey, there's this thing that I heard, and it was told to me that it was true, so I'm gonna believe that it's true and tell other people that it's true, and then that kind of runs into the logical fallacy of deferring to authority. So, I mean, I guess if you don't want to figure anything out for yourself, just keep on eating dogma. On the thought of the word dogma, I thought it'd be really good to write a sequel to Jonathan Livingston Seagull, but I would call it Jonathan Livingston Beagle, and the subtitle would be Dogma Leaves Karma. Anyway, it's a title. I hope you read that book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. That's a really good book. But anyway, yeah, tying yourself to the divine, tying yourself to God, so to speak. That's what religion is. That's what the word means. It's kind of the same thing as what yoga means. What are you doing? What are you practicing? What are you doing that brings you closer, that keeps you on track? The thing that keeps you moving with the thing that is going to keep on moving. You know? I think my I was really randomly and luckily gifted with the opportunity to grow up not with a religion of my own, but to see other people carrying their own religion from the outside. So I have a more external perspective than, say, someone who grew up in it and came through it. And believe me, I've got my thoughts on those institutions. Oh, I won't get into them too much, but I will say that I found out about religion, and of course, like the dominant one here in our American West, the wild, wild West. Still is wild, isn't it? Still is real wild. I was about 4, and one of my neighbors on my street was having a yard sale and was selling some, her trinkets and wares. And I came by, and being like a little kid, 4, 5, like just recently moved into our new house in the suburbs of Rockland County, New York. And yeah, I went to my neighbor's house. She had, amongst her wares on a little table, she had a little clear epoxy cross with like a little pyramid base that had a rose in it. And I was like, wow, this thing feels really beautiful and it looks really stunning. I'm really attracted to this thing. It's really beautiful and it feels powerful, and I wanna take it. And I asked my neighbor, I was like, hey, how much for this? And she said, oh, that's so sweet. You can just have that. And my mom was like, okay. So then I was like looking at this thing, not really knowing anything, and growing up with a rebellious atheist mother who was rebelling against her religious upbringing, and a non-practicing Jew father who was, trying to provide and support for his family. And yeah, I remember looking at it, and then my mom was like, do you know what that means? And I was like, no, because I was 4. She didn't tell me yet, but she was about to. And oh, the way she put it, think about it. She said, Justin, a long time ago, there was a man, and he said a lot of really great things, and he taught a lot of people about how they should love each other and be understanding and compassionate and treat each other better. I'm trying to go. This is some years ago, 38 years ago, if I'm gonna do the math. And yeah, She said, and then they killed him. They didn't like that. So people killed him. And as a 4-year-old, I was like, oh, oh. And you know what? Is that not right? Is that not right? Was that a religious thing to do, to kill Christ? Is that a religious thing to do? Maybe after the fact if you asked some people, but I don't know. I'd be pretty pissed about it. But whatever. Um, yeah. Religion is how you tie yourself to the divine. And it just, maybe that could be your actions. Maybe it could be your thoughts. Maybe it could be your meditations. Maybe it could be how you take care of your family. Maybe it could be how you don't, although likely not. Likely not. Maybe it could be how you commit genocide. Oh, wait, no, absolutely fucking not. Yeah, by the way, if I'm going to say some spicy stuff, I really like spicy foods. If you think that you're a Jewish Zionist, you are not. If you think that you are a Christian Zionist, you are not. If you think that you are a Muslim Zionist, that's got to be a statistically possible thing. You are not. You are not. If you find that you're in any way supporting of this colonialist, so-called Zionist project by the so-called State of Israel, you, my friend, have invalidated your religious card. And that's coming from a guy, some random music teacher in New Jersey, some rando that you never met before, telling you that, yeah, your religion doesn't fill you with God, it fills you with shit, and you're full of shit if you think that what is going on right now in Gaza, in Palestine, in the West Bank is in any way acceptable. Sorry, I just needed to be clear. Just needed to be really clear about that. So anyway, yeah, people. I'll just say this. I've said this before, but I maintain that this is true. The greatest evils in the world has been suffered by humans, at the hands of humans, and that the greatest salvation has come from the grace and the love of humans. Human beings do both the best and the worst things to other human beings. So, you got to choose for yourself. Are you a human being or are you a human being? All right, I'm out of here. Love you. Bye.